Don't walk through the world looking for evidence that you don't belong because you'll always find it. Don't walk through the world looking for evidence that you're not good enough because you'll always find it. Your worth and your belonging are not negotiated with other people. We carry those inside our hearts. And belonging is being a part of something that is bigger than yourself, but it's also the courage to stand alone and belong to yourself above all else. In the absence of love and belonging, there will be suffering. But instead of looking for it outside, why not look for it within ourselves? And hey, before we dive into the topic, do subscribe. It's free. Is self-love a cliche concept or a much-needed elixir or nectar that must be embraced? Our mind likes to find a problem. It hates that everything's actually okay. It will intellectualize things and keep you in resistance of your actual essence. The natural expression of our being is love. Let your mind not sabotage you with you're not good enough or you are unworthy and blah blah. Start the practice of experiencing just that you are love. Loving yourself through meditation, you can experience that you are love. And when things actually come up, give them love. If crying comes up, cry. Crying is a form of true acceptance of what is and where stuff starts to leave through your tears. And crying is the release of your argument with God and alignment with who you are. If it's pain that comes up, or fear, or whatever, you don't have to give it that much power. You don't have to say or think that you gotta get rid of it. You don't have to try to figure out what it means, where it came from, and what's under it, and what the real problem is. And when you don't resist that thought or try to fix it, what needs fixing will automatically be taken care of. And you will heal the unseen parts of you that have been playing as undercurrents of your triggers just like that. And you'll feel lighter. Your surroundings, situations, and people around won't change. But what will change is your perception. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you want to grow, just love yourself. Don't waste your time with people who don't value your energy. Your time is the one thing you can't get back in this life. Cutting off relationships that lack reciprocity, care, and respect is primary self-care. When you discover your self-worth, you lose interest in anyone who doesn't see it. Don't lose time and life being restless in pieces before you find your peace and finally rest in peace. Learning how to love yourself can be pretty hard. All throughout our forming years, we were taught how to read, write, build, study, and analyze life. We were taught how to say please and thank you, as well as what was acceptable and not to others or society. But most of us fail to be educated in one essential dimension of life, self-love. What about what you want? It all starts from you. You want to meet the love of your life? Look in the mirror. Say the 3 magic words you want to hear. I love you. I really, really love you. Yeah, I know that sounds funny and may even seem ridiculous to some, but how often have you done a self-sabotaging talk? Many times, right? Imagine a small child being told over and over again that she is not good enough. That child will spend the rest of her life believing what is not true. But imagine the same child being given immense love and positive encouragement. The child will do wonders. So please, please feed your soul with love. Self-love, nurture your inner child, and be kind to yourself. I promise you that self-love is a bloody game changer, and it's okay to start with baby steps. Whoa, all that talk about self-love, but what is self-love? It's the forgiveness, acceptance, and respect for who you are deep down with all your beautiful and not so beautiful aspects, where you accept yourself with your strengths and shortcomings. When you love yourself, you take care of yourself, you honor your limitations, you listen to your needs, and you respect and accept yourself, because you realize that without loving yourself, you will never be able to genuinely love another. Why is it so damn hard for us to love ourselves? Well, the long and short of it is that we were raised in a society, a family that didn't teach us about self-love. It's not a part of our paradigm. While growing up, there wasn't much emphasis on self-acceptance with flaws and strengths alike, or the value of respecting oneself and importance of self-love. We weren't taught how to set healthy boundaries, knowing how and when to say yes or no when we needed to. We were taught to put others before ourselves. This lack of self-love and understanding therefore led to us being in a conundrum of emotional or psychological pain, with not much understanding of how to take care of ourselves. And such lack of understanding of self-love would lead to bitterness, anxiety, resentment, or a shaky self-esteem. Having said that, it's never too late for anything, but before we read out to self-align in the direction of self-love, let's explore the myth around the monster. Is self-love selfish? The answer is a big no. Self-love isn't selfish. Why? Because without taking care of yourself, you are incapable of truly taking care of the others. Your problem is that you're too busy holding on to your unworthiness. Self-love actually benefits other people, not just yourself. When you are able to genuinely love and accept yourself, you are able to love and accept others much more fully. An empty cup can't fill another. How can you love another when your own core is missing the magic ingredient, right? How many of us are guilty of not nurturing or looking out for ourselves the way we jump out to help a loved one or a friend? I sense a lot of silent yes there. You must treat yourself with the same kindness, concern, and support you'd show to a good friend. When you face struggles, mistakes, or failures, you must address it with kindness rather than harsh self-judgment, recognizing that imperfection is part of human experience. So the next time you start feeling guilty for dedicating time to yourself or caring for your own needs, remind yourself that by practicing self-love, you are actually strengthening your ability to love others. Scientific studies also show that self-love, self-compassion, self-care, and being kind to yourself is actually the key to a happier life, contrary to the popular belief. Self-love isn't the new age cliche term. It is actually one of the smartest decisions you can make in your life. But at the end of the day, it's your decision. Your life, your choice. Your choices begin and end with you. You choose. Align or hustle. Is there a dark side to self-love? Here I'd like to share a personal example of how much I wanted to indulge myself in this secret to happiness, that is self-love, but was so lost in loving the others around me that I completely forgot how to love myself, till the gentle reminders turned into nudges from the universe for me to take notice. And then I realized that the more I lost them, the more I found me. Who's them, you ask? Well, old patterns that were holding me down, and people who were no longer a vibrational match, and they only related to an expired version of me. It wasn't easy to switch gears from the autopilot and applying emergency brake into an unknown territory, uncharted space for self, which brings me to my next point, the dark side of self-love. Learning how to love yourself might feel all warm and fuzzy inside, but it's not always sunshine and roses. The truth is that when you start practicing self-love, you become a social heretic or a black sheep among sheep. You stick out and stop fitting in, and then starts the battling against the constant volley of you're not good enough, you should be cool like us, learn to chill, you think you're better than us, etc., etc. Loving yourself in this era is very commendable. It's a bloody commendable accomplishment. It is an exceptionally rare practice that many people talk about, but very few know how to walk the talk. I know I'm struggling with it, but every day working in the direction to be a better and more loving version of me for my own self, to look after myself, to love myself. Now let's talk about how not to get bogged down by others. One big part of learning how to love yourself more is learning not to take other people's treatment or behavior towards you personally. It's tough, but must be a mandatory practice. How others treat you is merely a reflection of how they treat themselves. Most people are so caught up in the monstrous underworld of fear and pain that they don't know any better. So, is it possible to love yourself unconditionally? Unconditional self-love is not something that comes naturally. Instead, you must work for it. Don't be upset if you pendulum between self-love and self-hatred. It's normal to go through these ups and downs. But the more you practice embracing yourself each and every day, the more you'll be able to deal with what life throws at you. And if it's lemons life throws, learn to make lemonade or gin and tonic or as you please. So relax. Give yourself a break. Slow down. Go easy on yourself. You've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving yourself and see what happens. Self-love, self-respect, self-worth. There's a reason they all start with self. You cannot find them in anyone else. Own your story and love yourself through the process. It's the bravest thing you'll ever do. You don't need to be accepted by others to be beautiful. You need to accept yourself. How do you love yourself more? Number 1, be judicious about the judgments that come your way. You will hear a lot of things on your path, some consciously and some unconsciously. You will be told that you're not slim enough, you aren't pretty enough, your personality isn't charming enough. Making mistakes is unacceptable. Taking care of your needs is selfish and blah, blah, blah. Some of them will creep into your mind and belief system, polluting your self-perception. In fact, many of these toxic perceptions probably have already. Learn how to question everything. Learning to say no, that's not true, helps you discover what the truth actually is. The more clarity you have, the more you will be able to support and stick up for yourself. Be your own best friend. You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anyone. But are you your own mortal enemy? If most of us spoke to others the way we speak to ourselves, we would have no friends. You are with yourself 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, through all the highs and lows. Doesn't it make sense to be best friends with yourself, making your life so much more easier? To practice self-love, it is important for us to consciously change our relationship with ourselves and treat ourselves with compassion and consideration, just as we would with a best friend, the pampering, the TLC, the pep talk, and so on. Know that if anything were to move forward in life, you're going to be responsible to making that happen. You are responsible for your life. If you're waiting for someone or something to help you, you're wasting your time. No one's coming. The sooner you get that, the sooner you get your life into gear. Change the way you perceive your flaws. The relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. Instead of seeing our guilt, jealousy, anger, fear, and sadness as a terrible curse, see them as opportunities to grow. Realize that everyone struggles with these universal human emotions. We all feel insecure at times, and that's perfectly all right. Every time someone points out a flaw in you or criticizes you in any way, don't feel depressed, angry, or defensive. Rather, feel gratitude for the chance to grow. So give this mindset trick a spin. See what happens when you start perceiving your imperfections as an opportunity to grow. Learn the art of self-care. And I said to my body softly, I want to be your friend. It took a long breath and replied, I've been waiting my whole life for this. Most of us are terribly disconnected from our bodies, minds, hearts, and souls. There are endless ways to practice self-care, like spending time each day connecting with your physicality and exploring what you need. Perhaps you are tired and need more sleep. Maybe your muscles ache and you need to do some stretches or skip gymming for the day and get some rest. Or you might even need to alter your eating habits for the sake of your health and well being. Look after yourself. These practices may seem simple, but they send a very direct and powerful message to your conscious and unconscious mind that you are worthy of being cared for. You're in your life where you are based on your beliefs. It's not just what you think you believe on the surface or consciously, but also your shallow beliefs that are holding you back from the life you think you deserve. Subconsciously, it's an automatic tape playing. You're not enough. You're not good enough. You need to pay attention to the tape running through your mind subconsciously. If you're not aware or conscious of that, you end up operating out of that belief system and not out of what you know to be your truest, highest self. Be your own advocate and stand up for yourself. Self-love isn't always so poetic. Sometimes it's a nice triple backflip kick in the ass. You've got to call yourself on your own bullshit, your nonsense, in the most incredibly efficient way you can. Being your own advocate means exploring what your needs are and respecting them, which is a form of self-love. What is non-negotiable or a deal breaker in your life? What are your deeply cherished values? What are your boundaries? We all have them. In order to be your own advocate, you need to explore what is making you feel unhappy, depressed, or overwhelmed in your life. What are your triggers? Let go of all that and set yourself free. What matters is now, this moment. Accept it. Forgive the past. Take responsibility and move forward. When I loved myself enough, I began leaving whatever wasn't healthy. This meant people, jobs, my own beliefs and habits, anything that kept me small and shackled. My judgment called it disloyal. Now I see it as self-loving. When you love yourself, you glow from the inside. You attract people who love you, respect you, and appreciate your energy. Everything starts with and how you feel about yourself. Start feeling worthy, valuable, and deserving of receiving the best life has to offer. Be magnetic. Affirm, I am desirable. I am magnetic. I am amazing. Take me as I am or watch me as I go. Just kidding. Self-love illuminates, improves, and deepens every aspect of life. I want to share some quick profound benefits of self-love to motivate and encourage you to get started right away, as the best time to do a thing is now. So here are some of the many benefits of learning how to love yourself more. Self-awareness, more self-confidence, self-forgiveness, self-trust, more tolerance towards your flaws and weaknesses, much healthier mindset, less self-sabotaging thoughts, improved mental health, less anxiety and depression, improved ability to discover and fulfill your personal destiny, increased love, acceptance, and compassion for yourself and others, improved relationships and friendships, improved work-life balance, more authentic connections with people. So what's your experience with self-love? What has been the hardest part of learning how to love yourself? I'd love to hear your story. I'm inspired every time you drop by and leave a comment. If you like this video and topic, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button and help me grow my channel so I can reach out to more of us. Sending you lots of love for self-love.